Alright, so for the solo part, I am using a beat bender. So I'll go through and show you how I played this on a beat bender, and then second half of the video show you how you can play it without a beat bender. So if you want to skip ahead to that, you can. But for the beat bender part, let's see, I'm leading in from 2, 3, 5 on the second string, and when I refer to bending, all the bends are going to be whole step bends. These are set up, or the beat bender is set up to bend up a whole step. So we got that bend there, 2, 3, 5 bend on the second string, and then I'm going to pick the fifth fret of the first string with my middle finger. I'm going to release the bend. So we got that. See that it's pre-bent, we release, bend again. So that part is, we're just open B string, we're going to bend it, 5th fret high E. So it's a hold the bend, play the B, E, and then release the B. So after we release it, we bend up one more time. And we're just playing that. We're alternating between the B and the high E. So it's. And then real quick, I'm getting so like a little ghost note down here at the 9th fret of the 3rd string. We're bending on the 7th fret of the B string. So when we bend 9, 7 on the high E, and then release the B string, and then just going back to that 9th fret of the high E. 9th fret of the it's an E, but it's on the 9th fret of the 3rd string. So another thing is I'm blocking a lot. I don't know. It just feels natural to do that. In other words, I'm not letting those notes ring out in certain places. Instead of, you can do it either way, but I'm just kind of muting out each string as I think it's necessary. So up to that point, then we'll do a little scale run. So it's 2, you start 2nd fret of the 3rd string, 4, 2 on the 4th, back up, and then we're going to go back into a bend. So it's bending on the B string, 5th fret of the high E, back to the pre-bent B, the open E, back to the B, and then release. I believe that's right. Let me try. We're going to bend 8th fret, 2nd string, 10th fret of the high E, back to the 8th of the high E, up. Hold it, and then just put your finger there at the 10th fret of the B string and release it. Let me play that all together. That's what we want to do. And hopefully that's the same fingering as I showed you before, but we're releasing it. and then ending up at the 8th fret of the 2nd string. Alright, up here we're going to go to the 5th fret of the 2nd string, hammer into the 7th fret of the 2nd string, and then hit the 7th fret of the high E. And so back to the 7th fret of the 2nd string, and then 5th fret of the high E string. And then we're going to go ahead, it's kind of hard to do this, but have the B string bend at this point and hit that 5th fret and release it. So it sounds kind of weird by itself, but if we go back to the that's what we're trying to get. And now we're gonna, so now we're at the 3rd fret. I'm gonna bend up a whole step, and then on the 2nd string, grab the high E string at the 3rd fret, release the 3rd of the 2nd string, 1st fret, 2nd string, and then 2nd fret of the 3rd string. And then, so that's just open B, open 3rd string, hammer into 1, 2nd fret of the 4th string, immediately into the 3rd fret of the 2nd string, bend that up, and then grab the high E. So we left off at the high E. We still got this bent. We're gonna release it. That's the open B. Back to really just playing what we played before. 1st fret of the 3rd string, 2nd fret of the 4th string. Then you're going to go, when you hit the 2nd fret of the 4th string, you'll go to the 3rd fret of the 2nd string and hit the open E. Oh, I'm sorry, it's going to be a. So if you don't recognize that chord, it's just an E major, E7, and we're just kind of finger picking through it. So we just want to alternate back and forth from 3 on 2 to 2 on 4, and then finally that high E again. And now we're going to bend up. So that's just the open B. We're bending up on 2nd fret of the high E. Open. So we're going to release that B. And then 2nd fret of the 3rd string. And then we're going to go. So that's just pulling off 2nd fret on 4, 3 on 5, open D or open 4, open 5, 3rd fret on 6, back to the 8. Let me play through all of that slowly, and hopefully it all made sense. Alright, so if we want to attempt this solo without a beat bender, we could do something like 2, 3, 5. Now if you use your 3rd finger, it's going to be a little bit of a stretch to try to get that high E at the 7th fret. So you might find it easier to do with your middle finger or your index finger. So we're just bending up and then playing that 5th fret of the high E. And we're holding that bend. It's kind of sloppy this way, but we're releasing it. 7th fret of the high E. When you do that, and then release. You're coming back from 7 to 5 on the high E, and then you're releasing it on the 5th fret on the B string. Now to get this B, this open B, you can just use the B at the 4th fret of the 3rd string. And here again you might use your middle or your index finger. And get that kind of, that might feel better, your middle finger. I'm going to bend that up a whole step, and then we're going to get the 5th fret of the high E. Play the bent string, and then try to get that open E. And then we're going to do, that's what we're playing, that's the entire lick there. So it's so we're bending it back up, and then we're hitting the open E twice. And then we're going to go down here to the 9th fret of the 3rd string, and then bend up on the 7th fret of the 2nd string. Same kind of lick. It's actually the same kind of lick all throughout the song, but bend up on the 7th fret, 9th fret of the high E, back to that bent string, and then 7th. And then release it back to the 9th fret on the 3rd string. So up until that point. And then you're going to do, this is just a little scale. You're going to start out at the 2nd fret of the 3rd string. You're going to go 4 on the 4th string, 2 on the 4th string, back to 4 on the 4th string, 2 on the 3rd string, and then 4 on the 3rd string. So it's like, and then you're going to go back to the 1st string, 1st fret on the 2nd string, 2nd fret on the 2nd string. And then you're going to play that open E. And then we're going to go back to the 4th fret here on the 3rd string. Play that 5th fret of the high E. So we're just bending it, holding it, playing the 5th fret, play the bent string, and then play the open E. And then we're going to release it. Now we're going to go to the 8th fret of the 2nd string. And this is going to be kind of weird. You're probably going to have to bend this with your 1st finger. 2nd string, 8th fret. 10, 8 on the high E. Same kind of lick all over again. But instead of like releasing it there, you're gonna have to do something like that where you come over when it's still bent and come down on the 10th fret of the B string. Kind of weird, but if you can get it right, it might sound pretty good. That's kind of what we want. So yeah, you release that, and then back to the 8th fret on the 2nd string. And then we're going to do something similar. Here we're going to 5, 7 on the 2nd string, and then we're going to play the 7th fret of the high E. I'm coming back briefly to the 7th fret of the 2nd string, and then back to the 5th fret of the high E. And somehow you're gonna, we need to get over here to release that. We want to. Let me think a second. Let's start here. That's what we want right there. So when you get back to the 5th fret here on the high E, somehow we need to have this bent 5th fret. I'm going to use my 3rd finger here, and then back. I'll release that and then back to the 3rd fret of the 2nd string. Let's just try it all up to that point. Now here we're going to be the 3rd fret, and we're going to bend that up the 2nd string. We're going to pick the 3rd fret of the high E, and we're just going to play that 3rd fret of the 2nd string again, release it. 1st fret of the 2nd string, kind of resolve that at the 2nd fret of the 3rd string. Then we're going to do so open 2nd string, open 3rd, hammer into the 1st fret, and then the 2nd fret of the 4th string. But immediately go into, so we're going to bend that 3rd fret of the 2nd string up again, and then match it with that unison note at the high E. Now here's what's kind of tricky. I played that wrong, but you're gonna. If you don't have a nut tree back here, you could use you could just do a bend behind the nut and just bend it up a whole step and release it back here. But since I have one on this guitar, it makes it a little bit difficult to do it there. So I'm trying to pre-bend the 4th fret of the 3rd string and then release it so I can get that. It's gonna be kind of difficult, but probably work better with the behind the nut right there. If not, you can just put in a different note there. I don't know, maybe release just on the 3rd fret. But once we got that, it's not. Be sure not to come back to the 2nd fret like I was doing there. We're going to bend up on the B at the 4th fret of the 3rd string. I want to pick the 2nd fret of the high E. Yeah, we want to. So we're going to keep it bent, the B bent, and then play it one more time, and then the open E. Release it, and then back to the 2nd fret. Let me get the intonation right. And then you're going to go right back into that melody lick. So that's just picking off on the 2nd fret to the open D, 3rd fret of the 5th string, open D again, 3rd fret of the 5th string, open 5th string, 3rd fret of the 6th string, back to the open A. Alright, so let's try to put all of that together and see how that comes out. Now it might be a little bit sloppy with me playing it because I don't really practice this way, but if you did, you could probably get it to where it sounds very similar.